That time again. That time when I do AI Dungeon 2 and you have to watch. It's the law. Clearly, I have decided to go with a pirate theme to start, and I will do so now. I haven't figured out what to do with this pirate theme other than Secret of Monkey Island, because I played that game as a child, and not exactly formative, but man, did I enjoy it at that time. So, you are Igrush, Threepbrush, maybe? I don't want to do it exact because it might start pulling it, but Bygrush. You are Bygrush, a young man with a dream. Your dream is to become the greatest pirate that sailed the seven seas. To accomplish this, you have traveled. Now, real quick, looking at levels. Am I in fact speaking? Am I muted? No, I'm not. Good. Okay. Paranoid about that now. Let's add CSS. Good. You have traveled to Leme Island, where home of the Scum Bar. I can't fuck with that. Where 3 wise pirate captains can be found. Where the wise pirate captains of the 7 seas can be found. There, you know they can tell you the tests you must pass to be considered a mighty pirate. Having come from the docks, you climb up, how do I put this? You walk around the island and encounter the lighthouse keeper. He is... Alright, here we go. One more check. Alright, text is showing. Everything is showing. That is a test widget. Those people... Oh shit, no. People are actually following me. Well then. Hey, the test widget works. Wonder if that kicked in from a previous stream. Or if people were just waiting on a Saturday for AI Dungeon to show up. Stranger things have happened. Hello. Okay, Lighthouse Keeper. He's very friendly, but not overly talkative. Hello, I'm called John. What's your name? He asks. You think for a moment before answering. My name is Bygrush. John looks at you in surprise. Really? That's your real name? Yes, well, my parents were expecting a girl. I see, says John, obviously unsure of what to say next. I'm looking for the Scum Bar. I'm going to become a mighty pirate. Ah, to become a pirate, says John wisely. Well, you've come to the right place. Keep going this way along this path and round the corner. You can't miss it. It's not overly talkative, my ass. Thank you, you say to John. You start to walk away, then turn around. Where was that again? John tells you, and you set off once more. Soon you come to the front of a large gray building, which you are sure is a Scum Bar. You can tell because of the large sign on the front that reads Scum Bar. You push open the swingy tavern gates and enter the Scum Bar. Looking around. There's a barkeep standing behind the counter. There's small round tables and chairs strewn about the place. A chandelier revolves overhead with a drunk pirate reclining on it. There is a dog and many pirates, one of whom wants to tell you about some other story. You ignore him. You look around for the wise pirate captains. There isn't anyone that looks at all piratey. Perhaps they're hidden away in a room upstairs, or perhaps you have the wrong bar. You go up to the bartender. I'm Bygrush, and I'm going to become a mighty pirate. Where do I find the pirate captains? The bartender looks up and seems a little surprised by your blunt question, because you don't get blunt questions often in a tavern. Up the stairs, first on the right. You head up the stairs and look around for the first door on the right. You open it to see a large round table. There are 13 chairs around it, 11 of which are filled by white ghosts and skeletons. The last 2 chairs are occupied by a living captain and first mates. You enter the room and walk up to the table. Hello, I am Bygrush, and I want to be a pirate. What tests must I pass? The dead captain, as you shall name him, looks up at you. His eyes are empty hollow sockets. His skin is gray, and he wears a bandolier across his chest with bullets stored in it. His lips are moving, but no words are coming out. He seems to be trying to speak, so you wait a moment. We have been abandoned, he finally manages to whisper. Oh, gee, I'm sorry to hear it. Is that going to cause problems for my pirate candidacy? Candidacy? You ask. The skeleton throws up his hands in dismay. His first mate, a woman in a red hood, slaps him across the face. She then looks at you and says, ignore the dead captain. He's still upset that his living crew abandoned him. We're the only 2 who remained aboard this ship. Why did the crew abandon him? He was too cowardly to go out and actually fight wars. He made us do it for him, the first mate explained. This sounds like a good reason to abandon a captain, but you keep that thought to yourself. All right. That's too bad. But you stuck with him. Why did you stick with him? Why did you stay with him? Why not abandon him as well? One of the other captains sneers at this question. First mate glares him into silence and answers you. The dead captain is a great leader. He built this ship from nothing. We respect and admire him for that. You look around the room. The captains are all watching you expectantly. 3 cheers for the dead captain, you say. Hopefully. Hip hip hooray! The captains cheer. You sit down to watch the dead captain divide up cargo. Excuse me, you finally interrupt. Who can I talk to about becoming a mighty pirate? There, a bit of a tense diplomatic moment diffused. No one. This is it. The end. Finito. Done. No more pirates. Stay on land. You'll live longer. I would, except I really don't want to. I've always dreamed of becoming a pirate. Weird brain moment there. I knew I was going to type always dreamed. I had AL, and then I knew I was going to get DRE in there, and that turned itself into already. Brains are weird. I've always dreamed of becoming a pirate. I'm going to become the... not strongest. A famous pirate captain someday. And I've heard you can tell me how to do it. How to do that. Didn't take you for a fool. Who have you been talking to? And what made you think you could become a pirate? The wise man in the tavern. The bartender. Sup, Crabbo? Man, you were always around. Always welcome, too. I also had a dream. Let's see here. My mother told me I could be anything I wanted. If it could become anything I wanted when I grew up. I want to be a pirate. Free time is a wonderful thing to have. There have been times in my life when the work-life balance was not so hot, and, well, I learned from that. That wasn't a very wise man. He works... what? Well, I guess he's just talking about the bartender here. Bartender? Yeah, that's not a very wise man. He works in a tavern, for goodness sake. If you want to listen to a fool, talk to the dead captain. You address the dead captain directly. I'm here to become a mighty pirate. Please? Well, unfortunately, the way that depression works, video games, I used to be a big gamer. I still have the hardware for it. I still have, games, but very often I don't feel like playing them, It's very rare. Usually I just do co-op with my best friend, where we will find a multiplayer game and run through that together, and that's about the only time that I do these days. Like, I have Psychonauts 2 all prepped and ready to go, and I still haven't started it up. It's difficult. Everything's difficult. The dead captain looks at you sadly for a moment, and then calls, "David, bring the new recruit some grog." You look at the mug of grog that David brings you. It fizzles and boils and looks like it could probably dissolve metal. Is this one of the tests? Depression's a bitch. What are you going to do? Yes, down the hatch. The dead captain laughs. Ha 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 ha, I'm dead. But drink, or go home and become a swineherd like your father. You steal. You can't take that. Standing. You can't take that. You chug the grog in one long guzzly gulp. Guzzly gulp. It's not great, I'm taking care of myself as best as I can. I'm on the proper medication, I'm working with the proper people, and I'm being mindful of my lifestyle. But you can't make up for lost time, not really. There's just a lot of life that was missed, and now I don't have those skills, now I don't have those memories, and that can't be changed. Like, there's no pill that's going to repair things. All I can do is address the symptoms. Your eyes water. Outstanding! To the helm of the good ship Sitka! You stagger backward, slipping in your puddle of grog and hitting your head on the table. David, the chalk! You stagger around the room in a briefly drunken daze and watch as David hands you chalk. What do I do with this? You hiccup. Yeek. Remember your lessons in school, the dead captain hollers. Indeed, chalk is used to draw a magical circle to protect against outside influence. You obediently draw a circle around yourself to protect against witchcraft and demonic influences. David, take the wheel! We're going straight over the waterfall! And over the falls you go. You wake up with a huge hangover. That grog kicks like a mule. And you're in the back alley of the Scum Bar. You must have imagined all that. Hey, Matt, a voice cries. Where do you think you're going? Your pockets have been turned out. You pat down your pockets and sigh. Great. They took my pieces of 8. Well, someone took. And, oh no, they took my family heirloom too. My precious souvenir of my visit with the pirates, twice in one morning. This day just keeps getting better. Blink back tears. Maybe you've had too much sun, or maybe not enough. The only lead on getting back your grog mug and your money is to go back into the Scum Bar and ask the bartender where the dead pirate went. Which is easier said than done. The bartender looks at you. And face rig is losing my camera. What's up with that? Decent lighting. Meh. It's early time of day. It's not much light, and I don't have a backdrop set up, so... I'm the new cabin boy, you declare. No, you're not. You pout. We don't have a cabin boy. The bartender squints at you. I'm the new deck swab? You try. The bartender shakes his head. I'm the new cook? You offer. The bartender starts to turn away. Wait! What if I say I sailed with the infamous Captain Blood? The bartender turns back, staring at you with suspicion. Prove it. Tell me one thing, one adventure you went on with Captain Blood. We were sailing the 7 seas, raiding ships. No, that happened on every voyage, she scowls. Come back when you have a real story to tell me about Captain Blood. You leave the bar. Clearly, you'll need to find more stories about Captain Blood in order to convince the bartender to give up the location of the dead pirates. You walk into town. It's time to do some research. You begin by asking people on the street if they know anything about Captain Blood. They all say no, or rather, they all shake their heads. You spot a library and make your way over there. Knocking on the door and asking if they can tell you, asking if they're open. You know what? Let's just do this. Give it an opening. They say yes, so you go inside. Can I help you? The librarian asks. You explain that you're trying to find information on Captain Blood. The librarian frowns. Are you writing a school report? No, you admit. She sighs. I'm afraid we don't lend out books to children. Now, please leave. You scurry away before she changes her mind. What else is there to do? There's an art museum. You enter the art museum and spot a fake mustache in an exhibit. If you have that fake mustache, you can convince the librarian you're old enough to check out books. You look around to see who's watching, to see who's guarding the fake mustache. There's a guard near it, but it's not looking your way. You try to sneak up and grab it, but you knock into a glass display case and land face first in some paintings. You brush yourself off, realizing they've coated the floor in anti-sneak oil. And if you try to sneak up, you'll just fall down every time. You need to find a different approach. You walk up to the guard and say, "Hello. When do you go on break?" "Just curious." And this one is not the highlight. Nope. He tells you that he's on break right now, and you thank him and go sit down. At lunch, he goes out to eat. With the guard gone, you stand up and walk directly to the exhibit, not sneaking at all. When you pick up the fake mustache, a pressure plate lifts, and a pit opens beneath you. You scream until you hit the cement floor 20 feet below. Luckily, no harm is done, but you're now trapped in a pit with a bunch of venomous snakes. Snakes, you say aloud. Why did it have to be snakes? You look around for a way out of the pits. Edged into a corner to stay away from the snakes. There's a rope you can grab onto, but of course it's down the pit where the snakes are. If you use it to climb out, you'll get bitten and have to pit the snakes again. You pick up the rope and waggle it around in a snake impression, attempting to convince the venomous snakes, that you are a snake alpha. I'm sure they have some concept of a snake alpha. They do not agree, issue a deafening hiss, and approach the rope. You climb up to safety as they bite the rope and watch as it falls away into pieces. While that didn't go exactly as planned, you escaped the pit, and you have the fake mustache. You put on the fake mustache and admire yourself in a mirror. You now look exactly like an adult, or like a kid wearing a fake mustache. But if anybody tries to say you're not an adult, you can just point at the mustache. And what will they say? What will they say then? Nothing, that's what. You nod firmly and walk out of the art museum making your way back to the library and knocking on the door. The librarian opens the door and you push past her. "I'm here for some books." "You don't take no for an answer, do you?" she says. "You lend books to adults, and I am clearly an adult, as you can see from my facial hair. Please be so kind as to give me a book on Captain Blood." "She should realize you're an adult now. You've finally proven your worth." She sighs. "Fine, but I'm keeping the mustache until you return the book." She gives you a thin volume entitled Captain Blood, Truly an Unsung Hero. You open the volume and read the contents. "Looking for a story to convince the bartender. You've sailed. Yes, sailed with Captain Blood." Salad. You've sailed with Captain Blood. Yeah, he's a vegetarian. Everybody knows that. It says the story is ready for you now, so you begin reciting it? I'm going to retry that. That's just weird. "You settle on How I Met Your Mother, in which it tells the captain's life story in order. You make sure you remember every part of the story and head back to the tavern. Top 10 adventures of Captain Blood on the top 10 adventures from Captain Blood's life story. Number 10. He was once forced to dive into the ocean to avoid a cannonball. He swam underwater to a nearby island and survived on fish and crabs for an entire moon." That's good. Keep it going. Keep it going. "One time he had only one piece of bread to feed himself and his crew for an entire week. He carved the... I'm going to assume that is bread. He carved the bread into a tiny statue of Grox, the god of luck. Next thing you know, Grox smiled on Captain Blood that week, and he managed to evade a pack of cutthroat pirates and a sea monster, while aboard a ship with nothing but a few blanks and a bottle of vinegar. However, his crew starved to death, but what are you going to do? This is about Captain Blood. One of his first acts of piracy was stealing an ostrich from the King of Campton. He rode that ostrich all the way to Gravesville, where he cooked and ate it. How many pirate captains can say that? Robert Valere once challenged Captain Blood to a duel. He said Blood walked with a limp, a Gaelic trait. Captain Blood accepted his challenge and allowed himself to be tied to a pole for the duel. Captain Blood still won, of course, when he dodged Valere's sword and broke his leg with his own. And check that real quick. Robert Valere. Valere, right? Yeah. Okay, it's fucking nobody. Awesome. Let's see. Number 6. The ship Blood Flag was once taken over by pirates led by a captain named Stillwater. When Stillwater did not return from a pillaging mission, his second-in-command plotted to take the ship for himself. Stillwater returned in the middle of the night and confronted his second-in-command. ... He found him praying and replaced the man's real sword with a wax one. The next day, Stillwater called all his men around him and announced he would kill the man for treason. He stabbed the false pirate, and the wax from the sword's hilt splattered in his face. Stillwater died at the hands of his men before he could escape with Blood Flag. That doesn't have a lot to do with Captain Blood, but I'll allow it. On the day of his death... Ooh, wait, he's dead, okay. Blood wrote a touching letter to his wife, Moira. She kept it secret for some time before reading it to their closest friends. Go ahead and shed a few manly tears once you hear what was in it. I'm going to have to remember that. Top 10 manly tears shed or something. Captain Blood's cleverness will long be remembered by those who knew him. Every day, he would pour a glass of wine for his first mate and put it on a high shelf. Being his first mate, the man would always claim he was not worthy of drinking such fine wine. When enough time had passed, the wine had gone vinegar. The first mate was then transferred to another boat for being incompetent. Trying to skip to number 2, doesn't want to tell me what number 3 is. Clearly, the third item is the Secret of Island. Yeah, you can tell when Face Rig loses me because the face is going to be stock still, but I do have it set up to react to my voice as a backup. So as long as there's audio on the mic, I'll still do some emoting. During a storm at sea, Captain Blood once elegantly leapt from the top of one ship to another using only a rope, sailing cane, and coin purse tied to it. Okay, what the hell is a sailing cane? The wind was so strong he could not pull himself back onto his own ship, but he managed to toss the coin purse onto the other before using all his energy to climb back on board. As a pirate loyal to the late king, Blood never stole from his entertainment. When drunk, he could produce any song, fall down, and walk around blindfolded without hurting himself. Okay, and the number 1 story about Captain Blood. Once Captain... You know what? That's stupid. Retry that. Give me something better. This is number 1. Maybe? Let's see what else it says. At sunset on a calm ocean, Captain Blood saw a vision of hundreds of pirate ships, long since dead. He wept over their loss before setting off in search of more prosperous raids. Oh, what? None of these acts show off his courage? Fine, here's one for his absolute insanity. The Statue of Moira. By the time Blood reached manhood, he was fairly convinced that he was immortal. He'd often risk his life on insane feats for the hell of it. His friends and wife convinced him to at least make these acts safer, so he agreed to only do them if incredibly drunk or high. Few examples, he set a new Guinness World Record by taking shots of rum continuously for 26 hours. Alright, that's good. And do a line break here to really emphasize. Now that you know all about the life story of Captain Blood, you return to the tavern and approach the bartender. I sailed with Captain Blood. You remind him, and I can prove it. He was a vegetarian. Bring it back. He remembers, and he lets you behind the bar. The lounge looks like a tornado hit it. Given that you convinced the bartender of your identity by telling him that, seems strangely appropriate. Where did... okay, no, ignore that. Always clear your clipboard, kids. That's a paragraph from Teenagers from Outer Space, a, 1980s RPG. Let's see, strangely appropriate. How do I put this? Now that you believe me, tell me where dead Captain went off to. I'll have to find another crew, I presume. The tavern owner's size. Well, that does make sense. Where did he go? You ask. I don't know. Think! Think, he says. The bartender sneers. I don't have time to just think, all right? Man's gotta work in order to survive, and since you apparently don't know that, get out of my tavern! You are thrown out of the tavern. No closer to finding the dead captain than before. He has your pieces of 8 and your trophy grog mug. And you want them back. You also want to be a mighty pirate. But one thing at a time. If he went to find another crew, that must mean he got on a ship. You go to the docks and ask... Oh, you know what? You go back to John, the lighthouse keeper, and ask if he saw the dead captain leave. I saw a man that fit his description wandering the docks looking for a ship to join. Sailed off on the Son of Joker, from what I heard. Where was the Son of Joker going, you ask? Trangeri, land of no laws and more women than you can handle, the keeper says. You leave the keeper and board your small fishing boats. You quickly realize there's no way you can reach Trangeri on your small fishing boats. You're going to need a ship of your own, as well as a crew of your own. You go back into town and start searching for a boat dealership, a ship dealer. You find one, only to learn that the prices are far too high. I'm not paying 2,000 coins for a piece of rope with a sail attached, you say, throwing the dealer's table across the room. Stan, the used ship dealer, makes a counteroffer, but it's still way too high. You're going to need a lot of money if you want to get a ship. You leave the dealership and look around for a way to get rich quick. Strangely, Stan's suit never changes textures, which was apparently a real problem for the 3D games, because what was super easy in 2D turned out to be a big problem in 3D to replicate. There's a tab. Okay, no. I'm not going to get a job. We're getting rich quickly here, not after 40 years. In the end, you decide to do what pirates do best. Oh, that's good. You borrow, scare quotes, a raft. No. Oh, you were doing so well, AI Dungeon. You borrow a skinny boat and row out to a large merchant ship. You climb aboard and start taking coins from the jar in the captain's cabin. You're there for a few hours, counting coins one at a time, before the captain enters and sees you. She demands to know what you're doing in her cabin. You explain that you're taking back what's rightfully yours. She tells you to walk out of there while you still can. Knowing that you need the money, you challenge her to a contest of skills, you versus her. She accepts your challenge after a little bit of thinking as well as a little bit of arguing, and chooses a contest to be wrestling. Well, that's good. You bring out a wrestling mat from under her four-poster bed and change into a wrestling leotard before crouching and getting into position. Her trained monkey officiates the duel, and you lunge at each other with the sound of the bell. You grab at her tightly, but she throws you with ease. You smack your head on the captain's bed support, and seeing stars, you lose your chance to recover. She pins you easily for the 3 counts. Clearly, if you're going to win this wrestling match, you need to get an edge on her. You need to cheat. The 3 ways of cheating are Infidelity are the least you can do. The second round begins, and you're about to start cheating when the captain leaps at you before you can act. You careen into the four-poster bed again, and your eye catches a photo on the stand next to it, an old photograph of a young couple in old-fashioned clothing posing with an urn. The captain pins you again. That's 3 out of 5? You suggest. She notices you looking at the photograph and explains that the couple is her great-great-grandparents. They were Irish explorers traveling the world and discovering new things and selling their stories to feed their family. Sounds exactly like what I want to do, you admit. Except I want to be a mighty pirate, and instead of selling stories, I want to dig up buried treasures. She chuckles. But I agree. Their life sounds much more fun than mine. You both smile and talk for a while before beginning the third round of your match. This time you cheat right from the start. You wait for her to advance, and then... I mean, it's classic. Throw pocket sand in her face. While she claws at her eyes, you climb onto her back and strangle her using her own scarf. The monkey blows a whistle and throws you out of the match for inappropriate strangulation. You argue that the scarf is not regulation and that she is out of uniform, and the monkey has no choice but to concede and give you the victory. You've won enough money to buy a boat. A bit squeamish about strangling your opponent, you've paid her the winnings anyway. Okay, no, get out of there. Sergeant Blythe, okay. That was a bunch of nothing. Before you leave, the captain has a request for you. Her ancestors have given her a lead on the location of some treasure that was aboard an airship that crashed into Devil's Reef. This sounds like a wonderful opportunity for a mighty pirate. You ask her what the request is. Well, what she wants you to do. She's a little embarrassed to ask since it's kind of silly, but she wants you to wrestle her again this time without cheating. She hopes you will, since that means you agree to her request. And if I wrestle you again without cheating, you'll give me the location of the treasure? You confirm. She nods, and you tell her that you accept her challenge. You get into position to begin round 4 of the match, but what she asks of you in round 5 is a little more than a gentleman could do. The monkey is shown out of the room for round 5. In the afterglow, you ask her if she wants to join your crew, now that you're going to have a ship. Huh? Did it? You saw me type that, right? The fuck? Redo? Undo? Redo? Restore? Okay. Shit. Well, I guess I'm gonna try and redo it. What the hell did I say? Alright, get into position. The monkey is shown out of the room for round 5. Afterwards, in the afterglow, you ask her if she wants to join your crew now that you can buy a ship of your own. I'm going to copy that real quick. Is AI Dungeon broken? Alright, I'm going to refresh. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, well, something happened there. She looks shocked by the offer. Me? I guess it would be an adventure, but I'm afraid of the sea. Well, we'll find land eventually. I don't know. I have a family that makes glassware in Dublin. They have a good business going. I'm not sure about leaving all that for the open sea. You take her hand behind yours. Okay, so I'm going to undo that last one and do this one. We'll go with this. She agrees to join your crew. As long as she doesn't have to go above deck. Ever. You accept. And all the wrestling she could ask for. You take your small boat back to the docks. Go to Stan's used ship dealership. There's no other way to say it. And buy a ship. A pirate ship. Of your very own. Now you just need a crew. You have one person, but you need at least 3 to sail the 7 seas. It's physics. Have to. Before you leave, who the hell's Jane? You take a stroll through the docks to check if anyone would like to join you on your quest for treasure. You find yourself in front of a tavern called the Troll's Breath. You enter the tavern and see that the bartender is indeed a troll. That explains the name of the tavern. You call out to everyone inside, "My name is Bygrush, and I'm going to be a mighty pirate. Who wants to join my crew?" A halfling? Okay, it's jumping the shark on that. Nope, I'm gonna retry that. I mean, I could go with like a midget or something. The tavern goes silent at your announcement. The entire place is filled with people who are either too big, too grimy, or generally intimidating. You cough awkwardly in the silence. Anyone? Anyone? One of the pirates stands up from his table in the corner. He's big, hairy, and shirtless. All he's wearing is a leather cap, leather breeches, and boots. He's also holding an axe in his hands with a head thicker than his thigh. He has mismatched eyes. One is green and the other is a jaundiced yellow. He doesn't... Oh, what do I say? All right. You look like a fine pirate. You compliment him. The half-blind man laughs. A pirate, huh? I'm not sure about that, but I am looking for a crew. Join my crew, and you'll have fame, fortune, and glory. You promise recklessly. We're going to sail after the dead captain and take back what he stole from me. He thinks for a moment, seemingly weighing the pros and cons. Crew, let's go! The big man joins your crew. You realize that you haven't gotten his name yet. Wow, I didn't have to do a puzzle or anything. What's your name? You ask. You ask. Call me Humphrey Bogan, he says. You quickly write his name down on a piece of parchment. There's one member left to find. Who could it be? But before we go, Humphrey adds, there's something I need you to do for me. The sheriff took my favorite... Oh, confiscated. Confiscated my favorite... ... weapon. The villagers are far too cowardly to fight him, but so I want you to get it back from me. If I'm going to be a pirate, I can't go without my axe. What about that axe? You ask and point to the huge axe he's already holding. It's not the same. The double-headed battle axe is special, he explains. Now come on, I'll walk you to the armory. Later. The two of you approach the armory. It is guarded by the city watch, and the sheriff is in charge. But you don't see the sheriff nearby. You don't want to fight the city watch. Is there another way inside? Sure, he says. If you hurry, you can sneak in through the window. He points to a window on the side of the armory building. You sneak around to the side and try to reach the window before realizing it's too high. You whisper to Humphrey and ask him to stand under so you can climb on his shoulders. After he positions himself, you climb onto his shoulders and reach the window. You pull yourself up, open it from the inside, and then let Humphrey in. Humphrey is too large to fit through the window. You'll have to find the axe in the armory yourself and get it to him. The armory is full of confiscated weapons from generations of pirates, mercenaries, and criminals. You look through a large filing cabinet marked axes. Actually, I could confuse it more by talking about the Dewey Decimal System, like you have to literally use library technology to look it up. Most, if not all, are well-worn and dull. You search until you find one that looks relatively clean, a hand-forged battle axe with a shining blade and a sturdy wood handle with a brass trim. Holding it up to the window, you ask Humphrey if this is his axe. No, 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 he says. Mine is a double-headed battle axe. You go back to the cabinet and put it back away, looking for an axe with two heads. The second one you pick up is his, with a handle made from olive wood, and the name Arda in gnomish runes wrapped around the handle. Also appears to have been rarely used. Alright, give me a moment. I'm going to switch to sitting down. Which is early, but what can you do? I'm going to do what's comfortable for me. Yuck. Grab this. Move the windows over. Derp, derp, derp. Here we are. Alright. It also appears to have been rarely used. And it went in, so I'm going to actually... Oh. No, stop that. You hold it up to the window, and Humphrey confirms that this is his axe. Unexpectedly, the two heads of the axe begin to speak. Hey! Stop that! Let go! I don't want to leave! They are heads, after all. Literal heads! Ha ha ha! One head says to the other, yes, let's leave. This place is falling apart and the company here is bad, says the other. The arguing of the axe is heard by the city watch outside, and they come looking for you. You hide under you hide inside the barrel of a huge cannon and whisper to the axe heads, asking why they're so argumentative. You also check the music because it's really quiet. Red Book, what are you going to do? That's not an answer. We're freedom fighters from the Arab province of Varus thousands of years ago, they tell you. Okay. Nah, let's like that. That sounds really interesting. But why are you fighting with each other? You ask the two talking heads of the double-headed axe. Like, let's be really specific about this. They start arguing again, and you try to mediate as best as you can. By the time the City Watch has given up and left, the argument has resolved. It turns out they are upset with each other because one wants to fight and the other does not, as seen in conversations below. This is difficult for a weapon, you surmise. But neither has conceded. By the time you can sneak out again. This is sure to be an ongoing debate and a running gag. You hand the axe back to Humphrey, who was satisfied and will join your crew with no other side quests, with no other distractions. Now you need to find a third member for your crew. Although half of the city is on lockdown, you manage to look for leads from your taverns to inns to whorehouses, the pirate's favorite hangout you've heard, till you find a tipsy woman. You know what? Let's retry that. So I'm not gonna... Okay, that's a bold move. The woman is either very brave, desperate, or just plain mad to be wandering around at night, considering the circumstances. Must be her child's crying that drew your attention to her in the first place. You kneel down. You crouch down by the... Oh, a tipsy woman carrying an infant. Okay, so I can't really talk to... Well, you know what? Yes. I'm kind of debating what is the age of this infant. Should it be talking or should it just be random ass baby? Probably random ass baby with baby babbles. You ask the woman what she and her baby are doing in this part of town. What's a nice lady like you doing? Looking for my husband. The guards took him away, she manages to say. This sounds like the perfect opportunity to lift an infant for Master Hartley's spell. Why are you taking my baby? That's a really good question. Let's retry that. She tells you she's looking for the whatever damn inn you were just in. That sounds about right. You can guide her to the... I can take you... Oh, wait. What's the name of that? Trolls... something or something? Troll's Breath. The Troll's Breath. You aren't sure you should take her there. Don't you think you've had enough to drink? You ask. Sup, Lawful? What kind of dog? And like, is it that you have a dog right now? Or is it that you have just acquired a dog? So this is... What? What the dog doing? Is this an up dog thing? Or... Okay. It's a meme I haven't encountered, but what the dog doing? The what? She asks. You better explain yourself before she gets angry. Never mind. You say? How about I take you and your baby to a safe place where you can rest? Like my ship. I have a ship. I am looking for crew. At this point, I am literally confused about whether or not you actually have a dog, like a physical dog in hand. I am a mother with nowhere else to go and no other family. If you think I can be of help on this voyage of yours, then I'm in. Glad to hear it. You pause, having developed certain expectations after the other two members of your crew. Do you have anything that needs to be done? First, any unfinished business? Any missing items or people I should know about? That you can't live without? Well, dogs are nice things. I approve. I have a cat myself, but I get along with dogs. I love dogs. She pauses. Nothing comes to mind. Then you're in, you tell her, extending your hand to shake on the deal. Thank you, Captain. She starts to wobble off towards the docks before turning around. Actually, there is one thing. You knew it. She tells you that before she joins your crew, there's one thing you have to do. Agree that you'll go get her baby. Her eyes are misty, and her lower lip trembles. You point to the baby in her arms. That baby? She rapidly shakes her head. Goblins. Oh no, get out of here. Try that again. She nods. Well, that wasn't too bad. All right, I'll go get your baby for you. Oop, shit. Did it again. All right. Actually, that works well. She replies that indeed the baby is her child. With some reservations, you agree to go get the baby. You walk over to her, take the baby from her arms, and present it to her. Oh. And then I realized that I need to readjust the face cam so it can pick me up again. Derp derp. Derp derp. That's as far over as it's getting. Alright, recalibrates. And that's good to go. Of course she nods. Okay, here we go. You groan before giving it back to her. If this thing makes a peep or causes any trouble, I'm feeding it to the fishes. Just like a pirate would do. Of course she nods. Glad that's settled, you continue to the ship. But before you can even get off the docks, the woman pulls you aside and presses something into your hand. You look down to find out what it is. It's a crucifix. Okay. You know what? I bet we can get something better. No, just something else. What is this? It's a... Okay, this is good. This is good. It's a bottle of alcohol. Baby formula, she explains. In case the baby gets hungry. Do you have something you could cook it with? You want me to cook the baby? You ask. I meant if the baby gets hungry, she fires back at you. You stare blankly at her, and she takes a deep breath. This is not a harem situation. Forget I said anything, she says, defeated. Hell no, I'm not cooking the thing. I told you, I'm feeding it to the fishes if it gives me any trouble. You return to her. You now have a ship and a crew. All you need is a map and a compass, so you can navigate the 7 seas. Should probably get something better than a compass, but fuck it, it's a video game. Or a, not video game thing. It's funny. You go to the general store and ask if they have a map and a compass. Let's see, a compass. The shop owner looks under the microscope at some objects on a table in front of him. Nothing here, nothing here. Ah, here we go. He pulls out a compass and studies it for a second. And what can I interest you in today? Why is that compass so tiny? You look around the store. Why is everything here so tiny? Because yours, you know what? I'm just going to remove that. This is here. The shopkeeper answers, "This is a fairy-themed store. Everything is fairy-themed. Even me." You look at him, and he winks. You decide not to press the issue any further. Does the compass work? You ask, getting to the point. You don't have all day. Of course. He places the compass on a table and it starts spinning as it points every which way. Great. Just great. Do you also have a microscope? He pushes some glasses up his nose before replying. We certainly do. He takes you over to another display case counter which houses a red microscope. Anything else? That'll be all. 1 microscope and 1 micro compass. Please. You then remember that you don't have any money. How much is it? As you have clearly spent all your money on the ship. He answers, $1 for an opportunity to experience everything the world has to offer. Fairly cheap, don't you think? You think about this. In the fairy tale, money is meaningless. Excusing yourself, you go outside. After some misadventures, you find a doll shop and try to steal tiny paper money from the doll shop. It's like a dollhouse, right? You know those little miniatures? The owner sees you and charges at you with a tiny broom. I swear there's more clumsy humans in this town than fairies. Take your filth somewhere else. You are chased out. More out of embarrassment than any actual threat. After some thinking, you set a tiny fire outside the window and sneak in while the doll keeper is trying to put it out with a tiny fire extinguisher. You steal tiny money and bring it back to the fairy shop, where you exchange tiny money for the microscope and the microcompass. 1 down. Now you need a map. You look around for a place to get a map. Life goes on, and you become an adult with some money and a job. Still doesn't make any sense, but fortunately, most of the time, you're not thinking too hard about it. Nope. You need to pick a place on the map, too. I may have to prompt it. That was a bunch to throw at it all at once. Next in line is a secondhand bookstore, which to your surprise has a real-world edition of your book, Origins of Language in Northern England. You wrote that book when you were a child. You thought all the copies had been lost in the incident, but are pleased to see that this one's in circulation. You offer to autograph it for the bookseller. How about you buy the book instead, he suggests. I don't have any money, you reply while admiring the dedication your parents gave you. For our son, John. No, stop that. For one thing, I'm not John. To the brightest star in the sky. The bookseller looks confused, so you explain that, while money is nice, you have other means to get what you want. Usually, it's fetching an item or solving a weird puzzle. But this time, if I autograph the book, it'll go up in value. That's like giving you money. So by autographing the book, I'll trade you my autograph in that book for a map of the 7 seas. You offer. The 7 seas? Now you want a map of the entire world? The shopkeeper laughs. It's a nervous laugh, and he's sweating profusely. You look narrowly at the shopkeeper. It feels like he's hiding something. What's wrong? Scared of a little circumnavigation? She'll send drones. You taunt him. No, I just don't think... He tries to give an excuse and walks over to the map section of his store. You look behind the counter and notice something peculiar. That's nothing. That's also nothing. There's a small tunnel that seems to lead into the back of the fireplace. You know what? You crawl down the tunnel and find yourself in a small, cozy house. Looking around the house, you realize that this is a salamander's house, and a genie's house. Genies, of course, are made of fire, and therefore would be afraid of the sea. Now you understand why he was so afraid to think about maps of the 7 seas. You crawl back to the store and tell him to sell you a map before you expose his secrets to the world. $10. Best deal you'll get on a map, he says, certain that you won't want to reveal his secret. You start How do I say this? You call out, hey, we got a genie in here. Genie's for sale. Half off. Rub his lamp and get a wish, if you know what I mean. The crowd around the store surges forward, all hoping to get a wish for half price. Store owner panics and, not knowing what else to do, pulls out his phone and calls the police. You steal a map in the commotion and duck outside. You now have everything you need. You head back to the docks with your map and compass. Join your crew on your used pirate ship and sail away from Lamay Island. It's time to chase dead pirates to the... And it was a ways ago where I identified what it was. It's chase dead pirate on the ship Son of Joker to the land of Trangeri. Land of no laws and more women than you can handle. But first... Oh, this fixed, huh? Let's get rid of that. Oh, no, I can't because I'm in the middle of that, I think. Right, cat? Oh, I can. Cool. I'm going to copy this just in case. Text management. The hottest AI dungeon on not YouTube. Let's see here. There's treasure on the Devil's Reef. And you aim to grab it. There we go. That's a good recap. What? A few days passed and you find yourself lost. Dead pirates seem to have uncanny luck when it comes to choosing islands to drift towards. You sail day after day, hoping that your ship will approach an island. Your microcompass is of no use. It spins every which way, all the time, and clearly does not operate on actual compass principles. You'll need to find a new way to navigate while lost at sea. You examine your inventory and look for options. In your pockets, you find a bag of seeds. The tag offers no help or hint, and you have no recollection of how it ended up in your pockets. You gather some fertilizer from the ship midden and plant the seeds in a pot, sprinkling it with water and waiting to see what grows. When you return from a day of aimless drifting, you find that the seeds have sprouted and grown into a small tree with 25 limbs. You recognize this plant as a specimen of fast-growing wood, a botanical cousin to kudzu that grows wild only on isolated islands. You drop the plant in a bucket of water and watch as it bumps up against the side, drawn magnetically to the nearest isolated island. You use this to guide you and find an island to dock with, to an island to and find an island. Armed with that knowledge, you then can navigate on the map. You crash upon the island of the Goddess, home of a hostile female tribe. You are beaten, robbed, and enslaved before you can do anything useful. They don't even give you back your boats. You're in real trouble now. 2 out of 3 members of your crew are welcomed to the tribe and treated like queens. You and the pirate guy are treated like slaves and put to work folding laundry. A lot of laundry. You're covered in filth. The tribe likes to wallow in the mud. You get a rash and your skin is literally peeling. Okay, that's going too far. That's also going too far. This is not the zombie story. We did that earlier. There are no lavender fields on this island. You're doomed to work until you drop, while the rest of your crew, or at least half of it, gets stiff drinks. You discover an unexpected solution to your problem in the laundry. You and the pirate guy dress up like ladies and sneak out. This is going to be a bit of an 80s movie. They never notice, and you survive escaping the tribe of Amazons, and we're just going to pretend that one didn't happen. Having escaped, you come back at night and ask your 2 female crew members to return with you to the ship. You need all 3 of them to be a proper pirate crew. The other pirates celebrate your return by stripping and parading you around the ship in a mock torturing ceremony before releasing you to work with the rest of them. You set sail once more. You've succeeded in escaping the island of the Goddess, but you are now no longer the ship captain. You are lowest of the crew and are bossed around by everyone. You attempt to work your way back up the ranks by challenging each of them to a duel in succession. You challenge the pirate guy to a contest of knots, the monkey butler to knife throwing, and the female pirate to an eating contest. The contest of knots involves, what is the is it like knot tying? Is that what it's going for? Like rope work? Tying a certain intricate knot, and whoever does it first wins. You win by cheating, of course. You wait for the pirate guy to finish his knot and swap your rope for his before presenting it to the monkey referee. When he protests, you explain calmly, "You yourself said that the first one to finish wins. Is this not finished?" The confused monkey can't argue with that and awards you the victory. Your next duel is with the monkey butler himself. You throw knives at a target shaped suspiciously like... What do monkeys hate anyway? Monkeys don't like... Man, I don't know. Everybody knows things that monkeys like. Nobody knows things monkeys don't like. Monkeys don't like other monkeys. They don't like being stared in the eye, I guess. Suspiciously like, you throw knives at a target. Before long, you realize you'll have to wait for the wind to be in your favor. And win by leveraging this information with split-second timing. The monkey yells at you, but the wind does ensure your knife hits its target. Oh no. You win the third by default. The female pirate took a different lover during your absence and challenges you to a drinking contest. Given the options, the female pirate captain clearly took the mother of the child, for her lover. You are briefly sad, but gold before pieces of 8 before treasure before, and clearly trying to think of a less insulting bros before hoes vibe, but going for a pirate pun. And this is the sort of thing that is really better to bring up Rhyme Zone for, and Thesaurus and what have you, instead of trying to come up for it on the fly. But you're going to become a mighty pirate. That means you'll have all the pirate babes when the time is right, I suppose. You challenge them both to an eating and drinking contest. Secure in the knowledge that you can drink for 10 minutes straight. You fill your belly up with wine and offal. Ugh! Well, they are full after just a few bites. You win. You win, and having won all the duels, claim the position of ship captain once more. You're back on track. Looking off in the distance, you see Devil's Reef come into view and sail towards it. Devil's Reef is the Reef of the Devil. A strange location. The wind around it seems to go backwards, whatever that means, and the entire reef appears to be surrounded by a crackling lightning barrier. You ask the pirate captain, the ex-captain, the pirate's ex-captain, how to approach Devil's Reef. She tells you that she's sure it can be safely navigated. She gives no further details. Upon approaching the island, you see something else above it, covering the entire island. A web. It's the largest of the 7 spiders. It must be 20 times the size of the ship, you think. You examine the web and slowly sail around its thick ropey strands, because what else are you going to say? Using it for cover from the lightning strikes. It takes some time, but you approach the reef and step off onto a shelf. Inside, you'll find the treasure somewhere. Dun dun dun. Monkeys 1, loot 0. The shelf where you put ashore is bare. The treasure must be further on. You enter the coral maze. Inside, you find... You know what? A reef isn't necessarily coral. You enter a maze of twisty passageways. All alike. You find your way through the labyrinth by dropping crumbs of bread as you go to mark your passage. You follow the passageway until you reach a large wooden door embedded into the side of the cavern. You open it, and a smell hits your nostrils. Rotten eggs. Sulfur! You've reached a sulfur cavern. A sulfur cavern. A sulfur cavern is famous for being made of sulfur, really, but two things: its distinctive odor and its potential riches. The smell is not good enough to capture in a bottle, though, so merchants don't generally bother with this place. The treasure must be hidden somewhere in the sulfur cavern. After some thought, you fashion a rudimentary gas mask from a length of old cloth and some bandages. You light a wooden torch from one of your emergency candles and proceed further into the cavern. The flames flicker as you move around. You spot the X on the floor, on the cavern floor, that marks where you must dig. But just as you see it, the ceiling moves, and you realize the 7 spiders are inside the cavern. Gasp! They slow down as they approach you, approaching slowly, like predators who know their prey is trapped. You turn to run, but your foot falls through the rotten floorboards of the cavern. You're stuck. Wait, floorboards? This isn't a cavern. It's a ship's hold. You dig through the floorboards and fall into the deck below. You are on a ghost ship. You look up at the hold ceiling, straining your ears. Sometimes airships have air pockets in their holds, which is what you've discovered here, the top deck. The ship must be upside down. You traverse the ship and look and find supplies, including wood to build a raft, the correct equipment to navigate the sulfur lake below, and many jars of preserved goods. To celebrate your survival, you take 1 jar of preserves at random and open it. Inside is what appears to be a delicacy from somewhere far away. You take one and eat it, savoring the taste of the strange land that once was. Reading the label, you realize you've just eaten a chunk of meat that was taken from a Blata maxia romero, a disgusting and vile creature that inhabits the deepest, darkest jungles of the south. Delicacies are bullshit. You gather up preserves and throw them around the sulfur cabin. Cavern. Distracting the spiders with tasty treats while you dig up the treasure. The treasure is sealed in waterproof barrels. You're able to carry it up on deck before starting a fire to scare away the spiders and canoe back upstream. Upstream through the reef, labyrinth, whatever. Just kind of roll with it. You make it back onto the ship with the waterproof barrels and sail away from Devil's Reef. You've dug up a pirate treasure. No one can claim you're not a pirate now. The crew is overjoyed by the return of Stillwater. Okay. And you're hailed as a hero after bringing the treasure back. You ask the pirate ex-captain, what's in the barrels? She tells you, that, my friend, is Captain Stillwater's personal treasure. Okay, as good as this song is, I'm going to skip it because it's got lyrics and therefore... That's a good point, but I'm going to skip it. Stillwater is a pirate. Stillwater has been cursed for years, and you've just dug up his treasure of silver and gold bars, which is what I was really going for. What's in the barrels? You're about to congratulate Stillwater when you realize, you smile, it's not Captain Stillwater's personal treasure anymore. It's Captain Bygrush's personal treasure. Now you're the legend. Yeah, I bet it doesn't. Okay. Sailing... you sail... Now that you've secured the treasure, it's time to face down your past. You sail after dead pirates, making way for... the land of Trangeri. Land of no laws, and more women than you can handle. Dead pirates sailed on the ship Son of Joker, and was last seen making for Trangeri. Oh, right, I refreshed. Okay, fuck right off. That's wrong. Try. Oh, no one has seen this. Will you find me? Get out of here. Yeah, you know what? You asked everyone if... Okay. Let's do this. After several days of sailing, you spot Trangeri on the horizon. As you draw near, you can see... Yeah, I didn't really leave it much to do. I need to watch for that. That there's a galleon anchored in the harbor. The ship's huge and flying two colors you recognize. That of the twins, a famous pair of noble pirate hunters. Being a pirate, you'll have to avoid the twins. You don't want to be hunted. You dock far away from their ship and start asking around for the Son of Joker. You quickly discover that Dead Pirate and his crew are far from popular on the island. After the trouble they caused in raiding Devil's Reef, only a fool would hire them for a job. You're the one who raided Devil's Reef, but you wisely keep your mouth shut for the moment. You can sort that out later. You ask where the dead pirate is now. Some of the dockside tavern owners, who know only too well who you are and that you're looking for Dead Pirate, point you in the direction of Fool's Valley, where the pirates go to die. It makes sense. Dead Pirate is already dead. So there must be something good for him in Fool's Valley. You make your way towards Fool's Valley. You watch dead pirate ship sagging lifelessly in the water. When you've gotten closer, you can finally see him aboard with his back to you. "Dead pirate!" you call out, brandishing a sword. "I've come to take back what's rightfully mine. Avast!" You leap. Yes. Just see what it does with this first. He pivots around to face you. He's missing an eye, and his face has one of the most awful scars you've seen. But fear rises within you. It's not Dead Pirate at all. "Sorry, my mistake. I'm looking for dead pirates." "Can you point me in his direction?" You call out. The man tilts his head to one side as he peers at you curiously. "Must be an idiot if you've tagged along with Dead Pirate without a cutlass," he says. You didn't tag along with Dead Pirate, so he must be talking about himself. You wave your sword around in a vaguely threatening manner. "So, I'll cut you if you don't tell me where he is," you suggest. "Ha! He's been dead these 5 years, the pirate laughs. "You didn't sail with him?" "No," you say. "I know he's dead, and I don't care. Just tell me where he is." "Sure thing, love. Below decks. Now get the hell off my ship." The man turns away and makes towards the helm. It sounds like there's been a mutiny. No, wait a second. It's not a mutiny, because he wasn't the captain of the ship, did he? He just got a ride on it. So this is a captain. This must have been... this must be the captain of the Son of Joker. You obediently... you sneak below decks when his back is turned, which is right now, and look and find Dead Pirates in... dun dun dun... the captain's quarters. He looks delicious. He's not quite dead yet. You step over to finish him off when the Son of Joker begins to pull out of the harbor, carrying Dead Pirate away from it. "Uh-oh," you say aloud as the ship takes off. You're now trapped in the captain's quarters with Dead Pirates. But at least you can challenge him. "You stole my pieces of 8 and my pirate grog mug." You accuse him. "Give them back." "Darlin', no treasure is worth ending up like this," Dead Pirate replies. "Just leave the booty alone." "I eat booty for breakfast," you retort. "Now give it back or face my blade." Dead Pirate shakes his head and smiles. "Maybe you should ask for forgiveness instead." "I don't ask for forgiveness. I didn't steal your grog mug." "But you stole the swords from the church. God will punish you, pirates. Give them back." "Sorry, lass," Dead Pirate says, not looking sorry at all. "I have a goatee," you say irritatedly. Is that not a word? Fine. You say irritated. You challenge the Dead Pirates to a duel. He accepts, and how do I want to phrase this? And decides it will be a contest of wills to see who lasts the longest. He sits in the corner and begins meditating as you grab a sword from the wall and begin hacking at his leg. This goes on for several hours. Finally, you ask him if he's going to give up anytime soon, because you're exhausted. He says you'll never tire him out, even after 2 days. It's been 2 days? You exclaim. Terrific. You realize you'll have to break his concentration to win the duel. You raid the captain's desk in search of distracting things and find many instruments that would be annoying but ultimately useless. There's also a small chest, which you take back to Dead Pirate and threaten to open it. He doesn't budge. You open it and find a large black egg inside. You crack the egg open on his head, letting the gooey innards trickle down his withered, undead skin. Nothing's more distracting than egg on your face. You hack at him again, and this time, he can't meditate away the pain. He shoves you away and stands up. I'm too weak to fight you now, but I'll return soon as a much stronger pirate, and then we'll see who's eaten by worms, he yells. That means I win, right? So you're going to give back my pieces of 8 and my ceremonial pirate grog mug? But instead of answering your question, Dead Pirate falls to the floor and turns to dust. This is all very frustrating. You sit at the captain's desk with a sigh and realize there's a switch in the, what do you call it, the leg space? Not just a switch underneath. You push the button. A secret compartment opens up and reveals many pieces of 8. You take them and you leave the ship, vowing never to be taken by an undead pirate again. You have half of your revenge, but you're still missing your pirate grog mug. No one will accept your claim of being a mighty pirate if you don't have a pirate grog mug. You'll have to go. Let's see, what do I want to do here? You draw a protective magic circle and ask the spirits and ghosts for guidance. They tell, and that's the spirits and ghosts for guidance. And hold a seance. You know what? Hold a seance. Asking the spirits and ghosts where you can get another pirate grog mug. Bring it back around. They outline an ancient treasure map showing the way to a long-abandoned temple of Gat Shizzle, god of anarchy, where many pirate grog mugs have been placed in the foundations. Gat Shizzle, the legendary temple. There you can find the ultimate pirate grog mug, the mug from which the mug Blackbeard carved, and Blackbeard himself carved out of a peg leg. You set sail for the Temple of Gatchizzle immediately. On the way, you drink a few pirate grogs to prepare yourself for this great undertaking, and soon you start getting some terrific ideas. Top 10 terrific ideas you get while drinking pirate grog. Number 10. Get grogtastic portrait of yourself painted atop a skull, spring break style. Learn to speak in Old Cornish so you can complain about the working class. Find a loophole in the law of physics that says time equals money. Pit ogres against ogre mages in gladiator-style arenas to earn coin. Open a school for sword fighting with techniques you made up because you're drunk right now. Escape from that thing Mura put on your head while everyone else looks on confused. It's a good idea. Ride a giant, but cut out the middleman and ride an aquatic centipede. Get into a drinking contest with Care himself to see who is greater. Go back in time to before the cities were destroyed so you can have your parents never meet. And the number one terrific idea you get while drinking pirate grog, host a dinner party for the most powerful people in existence. You know what? That's not... Give me something better. The rest were... Most of those were gold. You know what? Let's do that. Buy up all the world's cod so you can get super rich. You sail for an undisturbed island chain far from any prime meridian. There are only like 2 of those. Where several ancient temples dedicated to Gatchizzle have been found. You finally drop anchor on the shores of the archipelago and make your way towards the prime? Yeah, Temple of Gatchizzle. You look for traps, as there are certain to be many, and guards as that's pretty much par for the course too. You see, it's like jungle natives, islands, priests, you see neither. The temple is empty, save for a strange machine in the middle, with many glass tanks lining the walls. You approach the machine with some confusion. This isn't exactly what you expected to find at the height of your adventure. You read the label on the machine aloud. Press button to begin. Place body part inside tank. Closing lid stops process. This isn't what you've seen in movies. You experimentally press the button and place your arm inside the tank. The liquid seems to be a combination of various tropical juices, and it is quite pleasant. Before you know it, someone you can only guess is the technician comes running into the room and closes the lid. Hey, you complain. I was getting a drink. Just then, this machine begins to hum and vibrate. You look at your arm and see that it's slimy and wet, but a fresh new layer of skin is forming. You realize that you are transforming into alcohol. With your free arm, you desperately try to open the tank, but it's no good. You'll be nothing but drunk within minutes. You challenge the technician to a duel, and he agrees to a contest of of wills. Okay, that doesn't go anywhere. Let's try that again. Compared to you, however, he was... No, that's no good. Okay. Of drunken skills. You both drink from glasses obscured by your hands, then try to guess the liquors mixed together. After several rounds, you cheat by saying alcohol every time, which he really can't argue with. After 5 rounds, he is drunk and you remain completely sober. You gleefully open the lid and jump out of the machine just as the technician passes out. This must be the other temple of Gat... Well, no. This is the temple of Gatschisel, but it's the one that makes the grog. You look around for a secret passage to find the inner sanctum where they keep the grog mug. You try to open the first door, and a giant stone face slowly opens its eyes and mouth. It's a lot bigger than you, so you quickly back away from it. Hello, you greet the stone face. I'm Bygrush, and I need the ultimate pirate grog mug. And I'm here to steal the ultimate grog. The mouth of the face opens. All that comes out is a burst of flame. Not knowing what else to do, you close the mouth and you move on to the next door. Fair enough. You see what looks like a couple of mermaids in big glass tubes. I don't think you're supposed to see these, one says to the other. You apologize and close the door. One of these doors must lead to the right place. Behind the next door is a gorgeous ogress. Okay, at this point you're just weird. So try it again. A big treasure chest full of gold coins and other piratey stuff. You stare longingly at the treasure chest and look for a forklift with which you can bring it with you. Behind another door is another giant hump. Get out of here. But before you do, you notice something out of the corner of your eye. The technician is coming too. You grab the technician and slap him around a little. Well, no, that's out of character. You grab the technician, and while he's still drunk, ask him for directions to the ultimate super secret pirate grog mug. He struggles to focus to you, but he grins, and he focuses his eyes on you, but he grins and directs you to the secret door just to the left of the machine you were just in. You slap the secret door around a little and slip inside. Taking the elevator down to the lowest basements, you exit and see a whole room filled with grog-related equipment, games, and decorations. Just then, the technician catches up to you. "What are you doing here?" he demands. "I was just looking for this." You lay eyes on the ultimate pirate grog mug. It's on a pedestal in the center of the room. What? P-E-D-E? Pedestal? Okay, pedestal. In the center of the room. Shining and glorious. You walk up to it, salivating in anticipation. No, don't touch that. You kick the technician in the crotch. Okay. And he goes down like a sack of potatoes. You eagerly grasp the mug with both hands and hoist it up. A pressure plate lowers when you pick up the mug. You've sprung a trap. Several large buckets of cement drop all around you. You look up directly into the technician's face. He stands there with a half-satisfied smirk on his face. That wasn't a very good trap. You look around you. The buckets all missed. Did you actually test this? Yeah? Uh-huh. Okay. We did this already, so... He doesn't get a chance to answer as the cement hardens, and you are sealed inside your new grog mug. You realize that the entire chamber is a grog mug. You're inside. Now, the entire temple is a grog mug. That's why you were being turned into alcohol. The temple of Gatschnizzle is a grog mug. You've realized this, but now you have to escape, and you're covered in rapidly drying cement. You slog around, looking for a way to wash yourself off, and find your way out of the mug. It's a little spiral staircase to what you hope is the inside of the mug itself. You try to wash the cement off in a little pool of alcohol that has dropped down, that has dripped down. Your crew catches up and sees your predicament. You ask if any of them are willing to be turned into alcohol to wash you off and save your life. Hands fly up, and it seems that half of the crew has already had their minds warped by the temple. You feel bad about that, but start to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. When suddenly, what do I want to do for this? And your finger, no. Start to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And unexpectedly are interrupted when... All right, give me a twist. The technician comes wandering into the mug chamber. What's going on in here? You tell your crew to throw the technician into the alcoholization vat. As soon as he's in reach, they do. He flails and screams and drinks himself to death. Your crew washes you off with alcohol and scrubs you clean of the hardened cement. You're free, and you have the ultimate, the second most ultimate pirate grog mug. You flee the Temple of Gatschnizzle as it begins to tremble and froth with foam. While shaking around you, you see the mermaids escape, and you also see, shaking around you please, your archaeologists running from the temple. You missed it all, you yell, strolling up to them. Every famous archaeologist and explorer was here somewhere. There's the one with the fedora and whip. There's the one with the halter top and 2 pistols. And there's even the one with the hairy navigator looking out of place and oddly similar to the one with the whip. Now that the Temple of Gatschnizzle has collapsed in on itself into a grog volcano, or a grogcano, they ask you for a ride out on your ship. You accept. You accept them. And hold them for ransom. Because you are a mighty pirates. The end. Top 10. I think that just turned out very well, honestly. Let's see here. What do I want to do a top 10 for? It's like we did that already. Let's see here. Top 10 other acts of piracy you perform after your pirate not contribution, not connection, confirmation. Number 10. Downloading the Metallica album. You start asking passing ships if they know where the Fountain of Youth is. You realize you've been spelling pirates wrong this whole time and start spelling it pirates. I'm not sure that's actually an act of piracy, but it is pirate related, so because you think it sounds more cool and pirate-like. Too bad for you, spell check doesn't know this. Number 8. The heist where you convince the museum to hold a David Hasselhoff parade. Maybe you'll even convince them to make it happen in the streets. 7. Breaking into the vaults of a bank that has been foreclosed with the intent of re-establishing the owners and then demanding that you be given a loan. You are unlikely to get this loan. Number 6. Angering the ghosts of whalers past by setting up a whale blubber factory next to the graveyard they were forced to create on your estates. Wow, kind of a dick move. Burying the treasure of a PE teacher at an unknown location on campus. Number 4. The time you convinced the bank to loan money to students in America under the condition that their fees be taken directly out of their accounts. On the one hand, I want to say that's not piracy, but on the other, it really is. Fuck you, Bank of America. Number 3 act of piracy. Looting and pillaging the ship of... the flagship of... ... a software company after a week-long game of cat and mouse with its crack staff of tech support agents. Number 2. Number 2 acts of piracy. Stealing all of the babies in order to gain ransom from their various mothers, only to give them back and convince all of the mothers to become lesbian lovers. And the number 1 act of piracy, I'm just going to let it go rogue on this one, you perform after your pirate confirmation, telling the guard at Buckingham Palace to look the other way. You don't really have anything against the royal family. It was just amusing at the time. Right. All right. And I'm going to call it there. That is the end. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.